everyone, my name is Oliver East and today I'm here with some rapid reviews. So these are 5 games which are covered by other people on the Dice Tower, but I just want to give you my 2 cents on them and sort of just go through some hopefully good games. But let's start off with the one that I've liked the least, and that is Second Chance. Now, Second Chance is a roll and write from Pegasus Spiel, where you are each getting a large grid and you're flipping over Tetris polyomino style shapes from the deck. Now, you're flipping that over and everyone is going to try and draw that on. If you can't use it, which happens towards the end of the game, then you get a second chance. And potentially multiple people will get second chances as well. At the same time, each of them will draw a new card from the deck, not being able to use the one that everyone got to use. If you can't then use your next shape, well, then you are out. But if you manage to draw it in, then you're still in and you can have other second chances in later rounds. The aim is to fill in as much of your board as possible, and there's even a small tiny tiebreaker. Although chances are, because everyone gets their own unique starting shape, you can't copy everyone else too much. And there's normally a very small window. The problems I have with this game is, it feels like the first 75% of it is a setup for what is a grandstand finish. At the line, right at the end, you're really trying to squeeze these shapes in, but for the first at least half, if not 3/4 of the game, you're just casually drawing shapes in, fitting that one in here, that one in there, not leaving any gaps, and then you're in that top corner or bottom corner, wherever you've worked towards, and then you're trying to find space for these shapes. There's a few choices there, but it doesn't feel like a game that I really ever want to play again. It's not one that I can really recommend. It's super simple to play. You can draw some colourful shapes, and that's why it works. It's a game, but 4 out of 10 for me for Second Chance. That was not great. Next up, we have Similo Fables. Now, there is a whole range of these Similo games. This is just one in particular, and they all work pretty much exactly the same, and you can actually mix and match different sets. So you can, it's a bit odd too, but you can do that. So in this game, you are going to be giving clues to the other people around the table to try and guess the secret character. So you've picked one character, it's then put into a grid, and then you're giving them a clue. Is it like this person or not like this person? Now, it says not to say anything and put them like vertically or horizontal, but you can just say it's not like this person or it's like this person, as long as you don't give out any other information. So you could use it to say, oh, well, you know, this person's in a very, in this case, similar fable, you know, that sort of Alice in Wonderland or that sort of thing. Now, you can use it like that. You could use it for saying it's an animal or it's a person, male, female, that sort of vibe. Evil, a good character. That's your sort of, where your mind can run when you're sort of suggesting, because you don't get to tell them why they're like this or not like this, and you're just hoping that they're going to get the clue. Now, in the next round, you're obviously giving more clues, so then they can read back, say, well, they were this, and they're now not this. So, you know, you add those clues together, because they're going to have to turn over some cards. Now, in the first round, they're only turning 1 over. In the second round, 2 cards over, and so on, until in the final round, there's that choice of who was that secret character, who is the person we're actually looking for. Now, it says 10 minutes on the box, but we've found really rarely does the game go over 5 minutes, so you can get it in as a filler, a quick game when you're going around because it doesn't need much table space. And you're playing a card and saying, you know, it's not like the big bad wolf. So, you know, you're going to maybe turn over one card, or you're saying it is like the big bad wolf. So maybe you turn like the genie over because, well, the genie's nothing like that. And stuff like that is, it's one of those simple sort of logical sort of things, a bit like a Guess Who of old, but obviously with the sort of fable style characters. It's a kind of cool theme. There are other themes. I think there's a Harry Potter one. There's like a historical one as well. Like I said, you can mix and match. I found when you try to mix and match, it gets really peculiar though, when you're saying, you know, this person from history is like someone, and then it's like, but from a fable, and it gets a bit weird. But stands on its own. It's solid, it's fun, it's really good, I think, for families, of quick play, characters that they'll recognise and stuff. For me, though, I would just give it a 6 out of 10. That's Similo Fables, although you can probably stretch that to the other themes as well. Next up, we have Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Now, that is a phrase, if you've played this game, that you will know in order, and you're going to know it, and it's going to be ringing round in your head like it's one of those sort of bad songs at Christmas that you can't get out of your head. Because as you are playing cards in this game, you are saying taco, the next person plays a card, cat, the next person, goat, the next person, cheese, pizza, and so on, and you start back up on the loop until you play either the right card at the right time, or you play one of the special cards. The special cards are like the narwhal, where you have to clap above your head before hitting the deck in the middle. Gorilla, you have to sort of bang your chest, and the groundhog, you have to bang on the table before hitting the deck. So there's sort of those that break up what would otherwise be sort of quite a monotonous, just snap gameplay and keep you on your toes. They've also done a very clever thing where the majority of, say, the tacos are on a green card colour, but not all of them, which just throws your mind off just that little bit. It's super fun and fast, and when you want, you know, in that family party game environment, when you want to slap your hands down and play a snap style card game, well, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza creates a hell of a lot of laughs, because people are doing those wrong special things. People are saying taco, putting a taco down and just not noticing completely because they're so in the rhythm of saying the phrase. And then you've got people slapping down because they thought that a cat was a goat and different things like that. It's a lot of fun. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself, but it's a silly, fun card game. Easy to recommend this one, to be honest. So I would give that a 7.5. Next up we have, and again these are in order, so they are getting better, Unmatched Little Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. I am a huge fan of Unmatched, so, you know, take sort of my thoughts of the system at least with a pinch of salt, but let's talk about that. So Unmatched is a system where you can buy various boxes, and they are standalone like this. This is a 2-character set. You can play Red Riding Hood versus Beowulf. That is a full game. It's got the map, the board you're actually playing on. You've both got a deck of cards, a mini, and in this one you've actually both got a sidekick little disc as well. Now, in Unmatched, you are playing your cards to try and beat down the sort of health dial of your opponent. It's one-on-one, although you can do free-for-all or 2 versus 2. That is possible, although it's mostly a one-on-one game. So in this, you're playing cards from your deck. You've got attack cards, so normally you have to be within melee range, but some characters have range. In this case, you've got to be in melee range for them, and you're playing attack cards. You've got defense cards. You've got cards which are attack or defense, so you really have to choose when you want to use those, because sometimes it's worth just walloping an opponent, and other times, well, if I've not got any defense, that's my only option. And then there's some other cards, scheme cards, which sort of allow you to do special things. Your characters feel vaguely thematic as you're hitting each other and defending, not defending, drawing cards when you move, which is quite an important thing around the map. And then in this set in particular, you actually have on the map some doorways, which at start it seems like a really small thing. When you go through, when you move through a doorway, you can close it. And that's for free. But to open it, it will cost you one of your movement points when you're moving on your turn. Well, that's quite interesting, but all of a sudden, the doors mean that it kind of feels thematic, because you're going to boot that door down, or you're going to have to sort of flee, run through the doorway and slam it behind you almost, and just close off that bit of the map, maybe making you a little bit safer, or, you know, just bursting through and attacking someone and going, I don't care, I'll defend your next attack if you do come at me, rather than running away. As far as the two characters go, Beowulf seems fairly strong. He's not too hard to sort of get to grips with. His whole sort of thing is that he's got these rage tokens. Rage tokens build up when you take damage, and you can then spend them for bonus things from your cards, often making them hit harder or just generally do something cool, including completely taking out a sidekick if done at the right, if a card is played at the right time. He is a very cool character and not too complicated to get to grips with, to be honest. Unlike Little Red Riding Hood has a system where it matters what was the last thing you discarded. You discard on what is referred to as her basket, and pretty much all of the cards, not quite everyone, have a bonus effect when you play them for attacking or defense or whatever. They'll do something extra, maybe healing you, doing more damage, allowing you to move afterwards, if the previous card played has the right symbol. It's a really cool concept that's not done on any of the other Unmatched heroes, but it is certainly something extra to get your heads around, and it makes this set hard to recommend to new people, because you've got one character who is good to play as a new person and one who really isn't. Little Red just takes that extra thing to think about, and it means if you've got the two new players playing this new box, someone's going to have a harder time in that first game. Probably the first couple of games as Little Red. It's, like I say, it's an interesting sort of puzzle that you're playing, trying to make sure that you're playing your cards in order, getting those combos, and you can do some real extra damage or extra movement or whatever by playing your cards right. But just getting there in that first game, it's that little extra thing to think about. I do really like the set though, and it's sort of gone up and down in terms of points. I'm actually going to put it at 7.5 alongside Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza for very different reason. The Unmatched system is incredibly strong. These are two characters that just play differently from the other available characters. The map, having those slamming doors, it's very interesting to actually play on this map, certainly when people of range get involved, because all of a sudden they're hampered more by those doors closing than the melee, but then the melee's still got to get to you. Whereas the range, if you open a door ready for the next thing, well, they might be able to just shoot you. All in all though, it's a really good box, but not for new people. So I'd give that a 7.5. And last but not least, Catch the Moon. Now this is one of my favourite dexterity games, even though it is actually all based on a dice roll. Now normally I stick away from any game where it involves rolling a dice to pretty much determine your outcome, because in Catch the Moon you are rolling the dice to let you know whether you have to put a ladder on and touch one ladder, two ladders, or up to two ladders, but it has to be the highest piece on the construction. And wow, even though your fate is at the hands of the dice, it's kind of not. It's just telling you your limitations that round, and it can actually be a lot of fun when you're like, I've had to do a single ladder on a single ladder like 4 turns in a row, why can I not roll anything else on this dice? Because it's really tricky right now. But later on in the game, that same dice roll might be super easy because there's that place you can just hang that ladder. It's super simple. You can teach it within seconds, this game. And there's something truly sort of eye-catching and special about stacking these ladders up into this big jumble of ladders. And then just watching someone really carefully balance something and then just the other side just overbalance somehow. You know, they're balanced over here and something over this side has fallen off and causes them to take a teardrop. The aim of the game is to have the least amount of them with the slight added twist of whoever takes the last one is out. So it means there's that pressure right up until the very end, but normally it does mean you're still going down to whoever has the least of those. So even if you make that first mistake that causes loads to fall off, it's still only one sort of negative point. Whereas, someone just knocking one thing off is also the same amount. And you will at times just knock one off and be like, how did that fall off and not the rest of them? And then someone else puts something else on for their turn and then the rest go as well. And you can sort of booby trap the structure and try and balance something just on the edge, but that might be risky for your own good. And yeah, Catch the Moon, if you've not played it, if you can play at a convention, they have a huge version of it. Highly recommend that. If you can't get to a convention, get this game. It is one of the best dexterity games because it just plays so quickly. There's basically no rules. Roll the dice and do what it says and try not to knock things off. And you can get really good at this game just balancing it in peculiar ways. There's even trick shots or trick balances in the back of the rulebook. Just wow, what a game. I'm stumbling around a number because of, it's not much of a game, but the pure fun and brilliance of it, it has to be a 9 out of 10 for me. Just wow. If you had maybe that big convention size one that they show off, maybe it'd go higher because that would just be something incredibly special production wise. But yeah, phenomenal game, Catch the Moon. So that is 5 different games in kind of quick speed, rapid-ish. Let me know if I'm wrong about any of these games. Should they be in a different order? Should one of them be massively down the other end? Don't say that about Catch the Moon because it's brilliant. And well, check out other news, reviews and such on the Dice Tower. And I'm Oliver East, signing out.